Welcome in. We are here for Thursday night football. It is TNF Countdown. I am your host, Draven. We will be going through the games tonight and setting your lineups. If you guys have the questions, please ask them. That is the whole point of the show. If you were here last night, sorry for keeping you up so late because we decided to talk for, I think it's 5 hours, 4 or 5 hours. Either way, way too long. We went over way too many topics, had way too much fun. So I didn't even get to do my start sits. So I'm more likely going to include that. Hey, Sway, what's up? Should I drop Jameson or Pearsall for? I'm fine dropping either of them. I would probably go Pearsall first, just because Jennings is back and Debo is back. More than likely, both have been spotted practicing. So that in mind, I'm not too worried about it. I don't expect Pearsall to be a major part with the injury and him needing to learn the system. It's just not really worth it to me. So, of those two, I'm dropping Pearsall. We've kind of seen a decent game from Jameson at least this year. All right. Do I start Jameson, Williams, or Laporta? Again, more likely to go Williams because we've seen the big game. Curious to see how it goes. Laporta really hasn't done anything. I wouldn't drop him. I'd actually try and, if you don't manage Chuba, I'd be trying to get rid of him. But again, we'll just have to wait and see on that. More likely, you're just going to have to hold because I do expect him to get some work. They need to use him. They need to see what they have with him. Clearly, they believe in Chuba, so that unfortunately makes it a little tougher on Brooks. So, what's up, BZ? Pick 2, 1.5 PPR. Okay, it's definitely going to be Flowers, so you're playing him tonight. Then it gets interesting because London hasn't practiced yet, so that kind of unfortunately just leaves you with Pickens. If that changes, I'm still probably going to go Pickens just because I'm worried about London hurting himself. Because, it's a hip. Hips are very iffy. They're difficult when it comes to if it's a muscle or tendon, it's difficult to mess with, and it can get inflamed easily, so it could easily get out. If it's just a bone bruise, that's a completely different thing. He's just managing pain at that point, and that'd be a lot safer to play him. So makes it iffy. So I'd rather just roll out Zay and Pickens and hope for the best. All right. Well, until more questions come in, I'm going to walk you guys through my start of the week. We'll start QB start of the week, I guess, is the best way to do this. You missed out, man. We did trades for about 3 hours last night. So, if you don't have either of their starters, then I won't worry about it. I'm fine trading either. I'd be more willing to do Warren, that because he hasn't really done anything, and that matchup sucks. So, rather just do that and not worry about it too much. But you have to do both. It's fine. Because if you want to be on the roller coaster ride of Sutton, could do worse, and you're really just getting rid of pieces that you're more likely not starting anyway, unless there's an injury. All right. Do I pick up Gabe Davis, McMillan, Coker, Tipton, Douglas, Ray to drop Pearsall? If you want to. Of them, Ray is interesting if London is out only. Otherwise, if you're looking for a longer term, it's probably Douglas. McMillan really is only just this week, with Evans likely coming back after the bye. And Davis, we haven't seen really do anything. So don't love it. Not a big fan. Wouldn't be too worried on it. So, all right. 2 more questions come in. Quarterback start of the week was, if you were watching last night at any point, you kind of understood. It's ugly, but it's Daniel Jones versus the Panthers. Quarterbacks have averaged over 200 passing yards and 2 touchdowns against the Panthers. Jones has been a QB1 in 4 of his 8 weeks, coming off one of his best weeks in fantasy, and has one of the best matchups. His also has been adding his rushing back, which has been massive for him as a fantasy asset. And surprisingly, his best actual weeks have been against a good defense of the Commanders. So he also had a decent week against the Browns and Seahawks. And the Giants, 2 wins. So if this is a third win, I would expect to have the same or similar success and more likely hitting 15 plus fantasy points. So my start of the week, I think he's definitely I have him as my QB 11, but he's definitely top 15. So, all right, Skylar, Ferguson or Taysom Hill. This is really dependent on what you're wanting. Because I'm guessing that Dak likely isn't playing, Ferguson gets a little bit of a drop off. There's a lot more potential upside with Hill, but that is all it is because he's very a 3 or 20. So Ferguson's at least going to give you a solid number that it doesn't terrify me. So, and then pick 3, full PPR, Hunt, Connor, CMC, Dobbins. If CMC goes, you're playing him. Then I'm probably going to go Hunt and then Dobbins. Pick 1, full PPR, Leggett, BTJ, or MHG. It's still probably Brian Thomas. I know that I can't think of his name. Trevor Lawrence is likely out, leaving Beathard, which he is a slinger, so I'm guessing he would likely get it to BTJ. Not too worried about that. But if you are, I'm fine rolling out Leggett. Then pick 1. I'm playing Smith if Brown is out only. Otherwise, I'm playing Ladd. And then Ferguson or Hawkinson. Hawkinson hasn't done anything. I didn't like his snap share. They haven't said that they're going to improve that yet. So I'm guessing they're trying to ease him back in. So I would go Ferguson there. All right, Skylar. Let's see here. And then pick 2, CMC, Cup, or AJ Brown. It's CMC and Brown if they go. Otherwise, it's Cup. I mean, it makes it pretty easy for you. So they're healthy, you play them. It's too difficult not to at this point. So, all right. There's nothing else. I guess the big news is the fact that it is official that Higgins is out. Adam Thielen also official that he's out, which I guess shouldn't be super surprised. So we are still waiting to hear on Nico Collins, but because of all of the gray area around it, I'm guessing that he also isn't going to be playing, which don't love, but it's just how it's going to go. In any case, if you guys have questions, please ask them. We, of course, have all these shows. The next one is tomorrow, where you get to hang out with Mason, and he will help you make your bets, set your bets, try and make you some money. So then I'll be back Sunday. All right, quarterback set of the week. It worked last week because Patrick Mahomes finally had his big game as I expected, but I had to sit him to make sure it happened. This week, however, I do not expect him to do as well as he did last week, off of his best performance in an overtime game where he had to throw 3 touchdowns. Broncos defense is not the Bucs defense. I expect this game to be lower scoring. It's the first time Mahomes broke 20 fantasy points all year, and honestly, in a year, because I'm pretty sure it was week 8 of last year that he scored his last 20 fantasy point week. So curious to see if he does it. I kind of doubt he does because the Broncos looked fine, aren't doing a whole lot with it. All right. Running back start of the week. Again, shouldn't be surprising. Rachaad White. Versus the 49ers, I do not care. He is seeing enough work. He has been the back to catch any of the passes. The dump offs will be there. I know it's a 49er, so that also actually boosts him up a little more. Running backs against the 49ers have scored a touchdown or have 5+ targets. I would expect that he sees 5+ targets, and if he does that, more likely he is hitting double-digit fantasy points. White has 3 consecutive weeks of double-digit scoring, and again, shouldn't be surprising because with Evans out and Godwin on IR, it's been him not really carrying it, with Baker doing all the hard work. Granted, his week last week was saved with a touchdown, but would expect his targets to carry him this week. Running back set of the week, which is really just a struggle because I don't think it's going to happen with the fact that Khalil Herbert is going to be running with him, but Chase Brown versus the Ravens. There's only one running back to hit over 100 all-purpose yards against the Ravens, and it was Rashard White, which now with Brown activated, I still think Brown sees a majority of the work. Nick Chubb is the only running back to go over 50 rushing yards, and it took him 16 carries. No other running back has done that. I know that collectively, the Bengals running backs did a lot better last time. So hopefully, if Brown is getting the full workload, he will still become a top 24 running back. It's just difficult to see if they are that far behind and they aren't using him as an outlet. So, and honestly, his last matchup, he was saved by a touchdown, and it was in the passing game. So, very interesting. Guys have questions, please ask them. I'm literally just filling time for you guys right now. Wide receiver start of the week is Demarcus Robinson versus Dolphins. Again, with both Puka and Cup back the past 2 weeks. I know Puka got thrown out last week, but in any case, Robinson has scored 2 touchdowns in both weeks. And one of them, he literally was only targeted twice and scored 2 touchdowns. So, blows me away. And it's just how that offense is working right now with Cup and Puka both taking away the defenders from him. He's just becoming wide open, and it's easy for him to score. Wide receiver sit of the week. I'm really hoping this is a reverse jinx because he needs it. Marvin Harrison Jr. versus the Jets. It's not even the matchup. It's just the fact that Harrison hasn't done a whole lot. He's been very up and down. He's currently wide receiver 76 on the year, with 4 games where he scored double-digit fantasy points. He's either given 15-plus fantasy points or under 6 fantasy points, which is terrifying. For the talent that he has, it makes me so nervous that he has to go through those struggles. What's up? You're back after you suffered through us last night forever. All right. Who am I starting? BTJ Shakir. Yeah, I get that. I still think Brian Thomas will get a majority of the work as a potential star and healthiest player. But Shakir becomes interesting, especially if Coleman remains out. He's dealing with the wrist injury. If Cooper is limited in any fashion, I don't think he is. I actually think he's going to play the full game. I also think that it helps Shakir. So if you want to play it safe, play Shakir. I completely understand being worried about the Jags. But who knows? Maybe they'll actually play better. CJ has a very up and down streak, but he's kind of a gunslinger. Reminds me of, oh my gosh, what was that guy's name? It was another Jags quarterback who used to just chuck it all the time. It's going to take me forever to figure that out. So, yeah, if you're worried about it, go Shakir. It's not that big a deal. All right, 26. Let's see. Which 2? Well, you only gave me 2. So I'm going to go with Deontay and Waddle. What's up, Jordan? Really worried about TD having Yeah, I completely understand that. The aggravation, sure. It's more the fact that I still think he's going to see a lot of targets, which saves him. So if it's any kind of PPR, I still think he gives you a safe floor. But again, if you're worried about it, roll out Dobbins. Dobbins has a decent matchup. His upside's a lot more limited because it's the Chargers, and they really don't do a whole lot when it comes to offense. They've been decent recently, but not everybody has a success. So 15-minute, guys. All right. You're welcome. Oh, you're back. Okay. Waddle, Dowdle, Deontay. I'm probably going to go with Dowdle and Deontay. This is a game where I think Deontay could actually shine if again, the coverage isn't going to be great on him, but I'm expecting to get the best corner on the outside Flowers is really going to be the one who destroys this team, but Deontay could find the end zone and make him pretty valuable. Until the Dolphins actually decide what they're doing and how to do something besides running the ball. Waddle terrifies me, so that's more of just a sit and hold for now. And then Ertz or Ingram. We kind of touched on it earlier with the likelihood that Trevor Lawrence is going to be out. Ingram's iffy. I still think I lean Ingram because Beathard will throw the ball, so I'm not too worried about him not seeing targets, and I expect him to be open enough. However, if you want to play Ertz, I completely understand it. I have them separate. So I have Ingram currently as my tight end 6 and Ertz as my tight end 10. So I think you're pretty well set either way, 26. So yeah. Clear as mud, I am sure. Let's see. Zay Flowers is set to have a massive game based on how this is set up, which more than likely I'm going to be really in trouble if he doesn't, honestly, because it would be my fault because I roster him. He's one of the few players that I'm really banking on having a big game, so wouldn't be surprised if he just gets hurt. Welcome in, Tiffany. Need 2. Flowers, McLaurin, Mooney. At this point, I'm going to go Flowers and McLaurin. It's just McLaurin's been playing so well. I completely understand Mooney. I'd be more willing to say Mooney if I knew for sure that London wasn't going to be playing. But if he is playing, the upside that you got last week just isn't going to happen. So I'd much rather just go with the 2 that I've seen have success, and you're having to play Flowers no matter what. If you come back Sunday, we should know more. But now that both of them are good for. Wanted to double check that neither one of them are playing the early game, the Germany game. So, and they're not. So come back on Sunday and I will give you more definitive answer because I will have more information on whether or not London's playing. Daniel, man, we were up until I think 1. I think we were on the show last night until 1 a.m. my time. So that'd be midnight Neil's. So, all right, roster Chandler. Would he drop Akers, Mitchell, Johnson, Spears, where they tipped in, Brown, Douglas, or keep Chandler? If you're dropping Chandler, I'm fine probably going either Tolbert or Douglas. Tolbert's interesting depending on how long Dak is out. If he's out, I'm curious to see, since I feel like him and Cooper Rush probably has played more games, and also Lamb potentially dealing with injury and being more decoy. Tolbert could see more usage. So kind of curious to see how that goes. But that'd be how I'd look at it. All right, Anthony, how's it going? It's bad QB, yeah. I just talked about it earlier. My start of the week is Daniel Jones. A lot of upside. I completely understand if you are terrified of that, because I am too. But the game is one of the better ones. It's literally, I think, 2-hour time change for him, so I'm not that worried about it. Going to Germany, and then, which it's for all of them, but the matchup is just so good for Jones, and him adding his rushing lately. However, completely understand if you don't want to do that, and I'm willing to play Stafford. Stafford's is playing pretty well with Kupp and Puka back, so should be fine. Yes, it was late. We got very sidetracked with Neil on medicine and had no idea what we were doing. So, all right, was hoping to gain a potential RB I could use. How do you feel about? I love Mitchell. I told people that I like Justice Hill. Justice Hill has been serviceable. He gets usage when they are chasing points. I would expect that to now become Mitchell. Granted, I do think it will take time, but the explosiveness that we saw out of Mitchell last year, I love the talent. I think he's incredibly useful. So I'm definitely looking at having him on my roster, depending on what I have to drop for him. So really depends. Guys, haven't already, please like and subscribe. Of course, we have this lovely slate of show. Tomorrow, we have Locked In. You are trying to make some money. Mason will be back with Vishal to set your bets and get you guys some additional cash, hopefully. Also, final countdown on Sunday. I am back answering more start-sit questions. Please ask your questions now. We still have 10 minutes to get these questions answered and help you get your lineup set. Any other questions, I'm also more than willing to answer. That's you guys drive the show. So I'm literally just here as your puppet and trying to feed you any answers or anything I can. So that's fine. They clearly aren't happy with Chandler. Last week they kind of showed it with the fact that Akers played more than he did. I don't even think that he actually played. So with that in mind, it's just easier to roll it out and hope for the best. Mm-hmm. All right. Still nothing, huh? Okay. What else? Okay, still no more questions? All right, so let's look at tonight's game. Zay Flowers is probably going to be one of the biggest plays for tonight as long as he stays healthy. And this game is somewhat competitive because the matchup for him against a too high safety set has been incredible. He continues to just tear that up. And so I'm extremely excited to see how he does tonight. Oh, all right, Anthony. Let's see what we got here. Chase Brown, and was thinking I'd have to start another. No, you shouldn't. Granted, I know it's just a one night thing, or rest of season thing. I think Herbert's more of handcuff at this point. With how Moss has been Moss played and how his usage was, I expect Brown to kind of take over that role, and then Herbert, as he learns the offense, to be sprinkled in to help give Brown a breather. I doubt that Herbert will be on the field at all during passing situations because of the fact that he doesn't know his assignment, and won't for a couple weeks more than likely, since he just got there this week. So again, not too worried about it. All right, Vic. Let's see. Bateman or Leggett? I'm going to go Leggett. He's still running the most routes and playing the most snaps and continuing to be targeted even by Young, which is excellent. Finally, I'm glad that's happening because he needed it. But it's just Bateman is so boom or bust, and honestly, I think tonight actually favors. Like I said, it favors Flowers a lot, and then I would expect as if they get closer to the red zone that actually Johnson and Andrews will likely be the ones to break free and have the chance to score. So, and of course, Derrick Henry, because you have to hand the ball to that man to let him eat. TD scores. Definitely want Derrick Henry. I definitely think you want Chase. Fine taking Brown. If you do those three as your TD scores, you get plus 400 on DK. If you're looking for other bets, we could do safe bets. I like Gesicki and Joe Burrow, either player to score a touchdown, plus 145. So you bet a $10, you get $14.50. Completely fine. It's the Ravens. I just think that now that they've added Deontay, this team isn't going to be able to keep up. It's really, as you've seen the past couple of weeks with Zay Flowers having massive games, it's because teams are now having to pay attention to that outside receiver. Bateman has been, again, tearing people up because he separates the best, but now teams are moving their stronger corner to face off against Johnson. And more often than not, that's just pulling enough and actually has forced Zay Flowers into the slot, which is where he really dominates because he's quick and most linebackers or safeties can't keep up with him. So it's very difficult to keep that from happening. So makes it interesting. Happy to answer the question though. All right, we got 5 minutes, you got to get them answered. Now's your time. I'll be back Sunday, and Mason and Vishal are back tomorrow helping you place your bets. All right, Daniel, someone picked up. Yep. Doesn't surprise me at all. Sure. If you're wanting to stick with having the handcuff for Aaron Jones, yeah, I'm fine rolling out Akers. He's proven that he can do it. And they clearly trust him more than Chandler at this point. So might as well. Oh, yeah. All right. Got to make the trades, man. I know it's difficult to do. And Neil right now is more likely waiting for next week. Next week should be the trade deadline in most people's leagues. That's part of the reason we stayed up so late last night. Was it helping people do trade questions? So looks like we'll be doing it again next week on Wednesday. At let's see, 9 p.m. Eastern. So 8 p.m. Central, 7 Mountain, 6 Pacific. So all right, let's see. Other bets. I'm fine going. It's not going to help you at all, but Joe Burrow +1+ passing touchdowns. Getting 2 makes me nervous because I do think Brown probably scores. I'm just not sure how he's going to do that. And then I'm also taking 1 for Jackson. Unfortunately, that only gets to -400. You don't get positive on those 2. Maybe if you throw in one of the touchdowns from the previous option, that'd give you a good bet. But all right, Vic, let's see. 1 flex spot. Tolbert, Leggett, Johnston. Again, kind of depends on what you need. Leggett's probably going to be your most consistent. I want to wait and see with Tolbert and see how him and Rush work together. I know it's going to be a small sample size, but I do think he actually benefits because theoretically they have been running more routes because initially Tolbert was behind Cooks. Then Tolbert was thrust into the role and has been slowly kind of gaining some traction with Dak, but he's also been more focused on Ferguson. So interesting to see how that goes. But Leggett is your safe play. And if you are chasing upside, I am going to go Johnston. Keep scoring. It's another game that more than likely Johnston has the most success right now against busted coverages. So anytime people are failing, Johnston is getting wide open and scoring. So that's kind of why he's been so valuable in fantasy recently. But it's also very much an issue with just how he plays. So makes me terrified. All right. What 2 do I start? Leggett, Odunze, Hopkins. So Neil and I talked about this last night. I'm probably going to go Leggett and Odunze because I think that Moore actually sees more of Gonzalez. And so Odunze's kind of been the one when Moore's been struggling with a difficult corner to see some usage, but it's so difficult to tell. That team's kind of given up. So if you're worried about that, go play Hopkins. I feel good about Chase. I'm hoping that him seeing a majority of the touches actually makes it easier. I do expect that he should run the ball. We'll say he gets at least 16 handoffs, which theoretically should put him over the 50 rushing yard option. And then if he's used in the passing game, last time they gave out, I believe it was 8 targets and to the running back. Moss had 3 for 28 and he had 3 for 8 and a touchdown. So makes it interesting. So, all right. Could plug in someone like Connor at flex and plug in Downs. I would play Downs in any kind of PPR. Again, talk about 2 high safeties. Downs has also been tearing that up. And that's what he faces this week. All right. What's your take on Worthy? Yeah, he is. It just depends on who for. Worthy is actually being hurt by the fact that he has to run down the field with his hand up. They're not really doing that. It's going to Kelsey. It's going to Hopkins on the edge. They're running the ball well. And with Juju likely coming back, I don't think it's going to be this week, but could be. And then it definitely will be the next week. Just makes it so easy for him to kind of get relegated to just maintaining that one role and potentially doing a jet sweep. And you're really hoping he scores every week to have any value. So depends on who's available. Because there's a lot of players that I think are better assets at this point. All right. Well, we've made it. I appreciate you all for coming in. Please like and subscribe. Of course, we have all these options for you to watch. Like I said, last night we literally were on here until 1 a.m. So, and then Neil and I talked for another 2 hours after that. Not that anybody cares, but just how it worked out. For Douglas Ray, yeah, I don't like any of that unless you just need a plug and play. McLeod maybe this week if London's out. So Douglas would be more consistent than Worthy moving forward, but that's also assuming PPR. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you all. Please like and subscribe. I will be back on Sunday. I will not be up for the early games. That's not true. I will be up answering questions in the Fantasy Life app. However, I will not be on here until 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 Mountain, 9 Pacific. So if you're wanting any of that, not going to be able to help you until that time, but appreciate you all. Have a good night. Good luck. Hopefully this game isn't horrible. I do expect the Ravens kind of give them a beating, but we'll see how it goes. Any case, have a good night. Good luck. Remember, as always,